There we go, get the little red light on. I'd like to begin our meeting by recognizing the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples of Canada as traditional stewards and caretakers of the land. We acknowledge that Clearview Township is located within the boundaries of Treaty 18, the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Teonatani, Wendat, and is the home of many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples as part of intricate nationhood that reaches across Turtle Island. At this time of truth and reconciliation, we welcome the opportunity to work together towards new understandings and new relationships and ask for guidance in all that we do. I will welcome you to Clearview Township's Committee of Adjustment meeting for the month of March. Do we have anyone online? I welcome you too, just to make sure everyone feels the same way. Confirmation of minutes from last month. Any questions, queries, omissions? Any? None? Can I get a motion to accept last month's minutes? Seconder? All in favor? Carried. Given the motions in front of us today, is there any pecuniary interest in anything that we're about to discuss? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll be excusing myself for 4.2.
For 4.2? Thank you very much. No one else? We can carry on. The Committee of Adjustment today will consider an agenda.
I have the old one printed. I don't have the new one printed. Sorry. I'll pull it up. Oh, thank you.
Oh. One minor variance, two minor variances, and one consent file. Scheduled under the public hearings. The Planning Act requires that a public hearing be held before the Committee of Adjustment decides whether or not to pass a consent or a minor variance. The public hearing serves two purposes. First, to present to the Committee of Adjustment and the public the details and background to the application. And second, to receive comments from the public and agencies before a decision is made. For each application, the Secretary Treasurer will summarize the proposal and correspondence on file. Planning staff will provide any other information that is relevant to the application. From there, the applicant will be provided the opportunity to make a presentation, followed by questions or presentations from the public, either in favor or against the proposal. All questions should go through me, and presentations are limited to a maximum of 5 minutes. Now, in order to streamline our committee with the rest of the township, I will ask that the Secretary Treasurer read the motion as written. I will ask the committee members for a first and seconder, at which point then there will be discussion, and then at the end a vote. The fact that one of the members and it will first and second the motion does not mean that they support it. It just means that it is read and accepted and put on the floor. All right. So to the members as well, the first and seconding of the motion as read has no bearing on your vote for the motion. If we vote it down, we vote it down, then we can move on to the next motion. It puts us in line with the rest of the committees of Clearview Township. So having said that, Mr. Secretary Treasurer, over to you for the first file.
Thank you, Chair. Notice of this statutory public meeting for these applications was circulated in accordance with the provisions of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, Chapter P13. Notice for these applications was posted on the subject properties on or before February 25th, 2025, which was at least 14 days prior to the hearing. Notice was delivered to the property owners within 60 meters of the subject properties and circulated to email to those persons, departments, and agencies likely to have an interest in the applications. Notice was also posted to the township website. Included with each notice was a legal description of the property and a description of the proposed changes.
Thank you, Colin. As we have already seen with this particular file, it was tabled until this month we've already heard it. All right, I'll look for a first and seconder for the motion as presented by the planning staff. All right, seconder. All right. Discussion amongst the committee for said file.
I need to read the motion too.
Very good.
So this is minor variance file 24A18-221 Cherry Street. So this is a minor, and you can see the key map on the slide there. This is a minor variance application for 221 Cherry Street. The purpose of this application is to allow construction of a detached accessory building to be used for storage on the property. This application was heard at the February Committee of Adjustment hearing, and decision was deferred to this meeting. Comments were received from the Public Works Department, Building Department, NVCA, and neighbors, and comment from neighbors was heard at the February hearing. The staff recommendation remains unchanged. The recommendation is that the Committee of Adjustment of the Township of Clearview hereby approves application 24A18 with conditions on the basis that it meets the 4 tests in accordance with the Planning Act. Procedurally, as Chuck said, the public meeting on this matter was held in February. Therefore, the steps to considering this application will include the following. I have described the file, and Danielle can provide additional information. The chair has called the motion, and then now is time for discussion. Thank you.
So to those among the committee, do we have any questions, A, amongst ourselves before voting on the motion as written? If we do not like the motion as written, we vote against it and come up, obviously it didn't pass, right? So it's a straightforward type deal. Are there any questions of the committee members about this current file that we have seen already?
I just wonder if we need to go to Danielle to see if there's any additional comments or in the last month. I think Colin said there isn't, but I just want to clarify.
Do you have any, Danielle?
Through you, Chair. Not really. Opinion hasn't changed. We've heard from Mr. Phillips, and we also had discussions with Mr. Ayers, the neighbor. Just kind of went through what the variance process is, how we evaluate applications, how we evaluated this one, kind of gave examples on like other types of applications and how we would evaluate that.
Perfect. Thank you, Danielle. Is there any questions amongst us as a committee member on this motion as written? None. Then let's vote on the motion as written. And is everyone for the motion as written? Against? Motion carried is against for the variance.
That means
All right, now we need a new motion that doesn't say we will. I would have thought that the voting against it was adequate. Or do you need a specific word?
my understanding is now that we have voted against the motion as written, we need a new motion proposing presumably a motion of denial or something.
All right, so our options are to not pass it, grant it, not pass it. Those are our options.
Yeah.
So if we have not accepted the passing it, I need a motion saying that we are not passing it. Does that make sense? Is that what you're looking for? That is what our secretary is looking for, is a motion that passes that we're not granting this variance. Does someone want to make that motion? I know, it's the same thing.
So there's like the 3 options for a motion: to approve it, to defer it, or to deny it. So the one that was on the floor was, sorry, was to approve it. You turn that down. So that just means you didn't approve it. So now you bring forward something that either is deferral or a motion to deny it.
That was my understanding.
Yeah.
So we have voted this motion down.
Down.
All right,
And so now you need a new motion,
we need a what?
a new motion for denial.
So as
or deferral.
So I'm
whichever.
looking for a motion denying this file.
Fine.
Word for word would be, we as a committee have denied this minor variance.
I just want to word it right.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would put forth a motion that minor variance application 24-A18 be declined or turned down, however you want to word it.
Do we have a seconder for that motion? Seconded. All in favor of that motion? Carried. Well, you were the only one left. We have one. Yes.
Yep.
All right. I do not know whether there's a 20-day appeal period on that.
Yes, there is.
There is a 20-day appeal period on that decision. And Danielle will be your best friend at the end of that to figure out what to do to go forward. All right. Moving right along to the next one, good sir.
All right, this is consent file 24B09 and consent file 24B10. This is for 2638 and 2720 Centerline Road, as well as 6718 County Road 9. This is a consent application for those properties. It came to our attention that the notices sent out to the surrounding property owners giving notice of hearing of this file were delayed by 5 days. Notice of hearing was posted to the township website, and the sign was posted on the subject property as per the Planning Act requirements. The letters were sent to surrounding property owners 5 days late. We do have one neighbor who requested to join our meeting today. Township staff are comfortable presenting these applications. However, it is up to the committee to decide whether to hear this application today, or if you are not comfortable hearing it, to defer it to another date. So next slide, please, Laurie. Here's a key map of the site. Next slide. The purpose of this application is to reestablish historical lot lines resulting in 3 separate agricultural lots. We received comments from the Public Works Department, Building Department, Nottawasaga Valley Conservation Authority watershed scientist, Niagara Escarpment Commission, the County of Simcoe, and Hydro One. Thank you.
You have a motion along with that for the township.
I think we'll hear the motion after Danielle presents.
Okay. Would you like to present the rest of this file to us?
Sure. So this is the site plan provided. It shows the 3 separate lot layouts. And again, these are historical lots that have merged together as one large lot. A photo of the notice sign that was posted. And then we've got a couple photos, east and west on County Road 9, and then south and north on Centerline Road. And we have the retained lands. So there's an existing dwelling and a couple agricultural buildings on those lands. And then severed land A. So the photo on the left is standing in the retained lots driveway looking towards severed land A. The middle photo is kind of the severed land A, there was no driveway plowed or anything, so that's kind of standing looking at the house on severed land A. And then the photo to the left is looking at the retained lands. Slide. And then severed land B. So you can see it's more clear in the site photo, but on severed land B there is like an outcrop of a house, and so you can kind of see that through the trees in the left photo there. Oh, maybe not. It's a little bit far away. And then 2 photos of the severed land and looking towards the retained land. And recommendation for approval. I don't think there's anything specific. The county was looking for an entrance permit. There is an existing field entrance on one of the properties on County Road 9. And they just want, if they can't produce a permit for that field entrance, they'll see it as legal nonconforming, so they just want a permit just to be put in place for it. I think that was the only specific condition. Thanks.
Is it my understanding this is a housekeeping file?
Not necessarily, like it's still, so the properties merged, so they had to sever. They had a conversation with a lawyer that a validation of title wouldn't work. So they went through the severance process, but we have like historical, like a registered plan that shows the 3 separate lots.
Thank you. So do we have a motion as prepared by the township?
Yes, the staff recommendation is that that the Committee of Adjustment of the Township of Clearview hereby approves consent files 2024 B09 and 24 B10 with the following conditions. Oh, Lori, could you go one back, please? So 1, that the owner meets all the requirements, financial and otherwise, of the municipality. 2, that the applicant provides a description of the land which may be registered under the requirements of the Registry Act or Land Titles Act as applicable. 3, that any mortgage on the property be discharged from the lands being severed from 2720 Centerline Road, and that the solicitor provides an undertaking in writing that this condition will be fulfilled. 4, that the applicant apply for and obtain an entrance permit, as Danielle said, for the existing field entrance on County Road 9 to the satisfaction of the County of Simcoe. 5, that the applicant successfully clears all conditions and receives certificates of consent for both consent files to the satisfaction of the municipality.
Do we have a motioner and a seconder for said file? And a seconder? All right. Is there any discussion required on this file? Any questions to Danielle? Seeing none?
The applicant has a presentation.
What's that?
The applicant also has a presentation, which we can.
All right. The applicant is, welcome, sir.
Welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chair and Committee, or this thing on. Perfect. David Scarcelloni, Junior Planner with Morgan Planning and Development. Good afternoon. Danielle's presentation was very nice and kind of touched on the main points, so I'll just kind of speed through and make points on anything that I have to. So as previously mentioned, this is currently one separately conveyable lot, and they're planning to recreate the historic lot fabric back into its previous fabric. Located on the corner of Centerline Road and County Road 9. Currently, one thing to note is that there are 2 dwellings on one lot, which is problematic from a zoning perspective. So this severance and recreation of the historic lot fabric would remedy this issue. There are no changes of use proposed on any of the lots, and they will still be used for agricultural and residential as they currently are. Currently, the lands at 2720 Centerline Road and 2638 Centerline Road facilitate dwellings accessory to the agricultural use. And the other lot 6718 County Road 9 does not facilitate a dwelling and is only used for agricultural uses. And there is currently no legal entrance, which is going to be remedied by the applicant gaining an access permit. It's also worth mentioning that all setbacks, lot areas, and frontages are met. The minimum for the agricultural zone is 35 hectares and 100 meters. All 3 of these lots are significantly above that. Furthermore, moving on to the official plan, section 11.9.8.3 states that the goal of supporting all sizes, types, and intensities of farm operations will take precedence over any specific numeric standard, provided the lot size is appropriate. And it's worth mentioning that the enclosed applications are technical in nature, and by reestablishing a historical lot fabric, the resulting lots are marginally less than 40 hectares and are still sufficient in area for each individual lot to respond to future market changes in the size and type of agricultural operations in the area. And I think that just about covers it. So if there's any questions or comments from committee members, chair, or members of the public, I'd like to entertain them now.
Is there any questions from the committee to either Danielle or the applicant's representative?
Through the chair. My only question would be, The property abutting County Road 9, is it subject to the road widening?
Through the chair to member Zegil, I'm not 100% sure at this time.
Through you, Chair, they did not request one. The only thing they requested was for the entrance permit. Yeah.
Thank you.
My thoughts too.
Sorry. Also, the member of the public is representing, so the public might be interested in comment also.
All right. Is there any members from the public who wish to comment on this file? The gentleman online is not for this file, Lori?
Hi, good afternoon. It's Tracy Uzinga, online. I own a property adjacent to the proposed severed property B and was interested to hear what this was all about.
Excellent, Tracy. Are you satisfied with what you have heard so far?
I'm new to all of this, so I don't know if this is an appropriate question, but I am interested to know why this is being requested.
So from my understanding of reading the file, these properties had been merged sometime earlier in life and was never requested by the owner. And they're going through this to make them back to their historical three properties that they never asked to merge in the first place. Does that answer your question?
I think so.
All right, if you have no further questions, then we have a motion in front of us to accept what the township has written. Do we have a vote on that? We vote on it? We're voting on it. All those in yay. Carries. So Danielle will be your friend to communicate with, to get through those conditions and ensure that they are completed within the 2-year allotted time of a consent file.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Screaming through to the next file, good sir, Mr. Secretary Treasurer.
Thank you, Chair. Our final file is minor variance file 25A03 for 11 Wellington Street West.
We must get our last member back.
Thank you. Yes, we
Not a
do. We will wait for our final, our committee member to come back.
Thank you, Roslyn.
You're the only one.
Only one. Yes, so, yeah.
All right. This is a minor variance, file 25A03 for 11 Wellington Street West. As with the consent file, the notices sent out to the surrounding property owners giving notice of hearing for this file were delayed by 5 days. Again, notice was posted on the township website and the sign was posted on the subject property as per Planning Act requirements. The letters were sent out to surrounding property owners 5 days late. Again, township staff are comfortable presenting this application. However, if the committee decides they do want to defer it, that is up to you. So here you can see the key map for the site. Next slide, please, Lori. The proposed structure subject to this application has been built already, and the application seeks relief to the maximum gross floor area of all accessory buildings from 64 square meters to 73 square meters, a variance of 9 square meters. Comments were received from the Public Works Department, Building Department, Nottawasaga Valley Conservation Authority planners, Nottawasaga Valley Conservation Authority watershed scientist, and the Niagara Escarpment Commission. Thank you.
Is there any committee member who does not wish to proceed with this file at this time? Or forever hold your peace? None? All right, we shall proceed. Danielle, do you have anything to add to this file?
So up here, we can see the site plan. So you've got the house, there's a garden shed, and then the new storage building, which has been constructed. Next slide. We can see the height elevations there. So west and east on Wellington Street West, and a photo of the notice sign being posted. And then we have a couple photos here. The photo on the left is the structure, so you can see kind of I'm standing on the road taking the picture, the structure that's built, and then the house as well. A photo of the house in the middle, and then the photo on the right is that small garden shed. Two more photos of the structure. And recommendation for approval, just noting a couple conditions, that it's not to be used for human habitation, commercial purposes, or a home business. Engineering, because the structure was built already, through the building permit process, they will need to obtain an engineer to review the structure. And that will be dealt with at the building permit stage, as well as an engineered lock grading plan, as well as a Ontario land surveyor to pin the foundation to ensure that it meets the required setbacks. That's it.
Thank you, Danielle. Do you have the motion as written?
Yes, so the motion as written is that the Committee of Adjustment of the Township of Clearview hereby approves minor variance A03 as written with the conditions that Danielle just mentioned.
Do we have a motioner and a seconder for said motion? Oh, we have that. Excellent.
Didn't have that.
How did you manage to do that?
How did I manage to do that? Let's do it.
We will have first motioner, a seconder. Thank you very much. Is there any discussion on this? Does anyone have any questions of Danielle or the applicant? I'm assuming you're the applicant, sir, since you're still here. You have not anything exciting to add other than what we already have? I didn't think so. But any questions for the applicant or Danielle, sir?
Yeah, I noticed over several files, through your chair to Danielle or Roslyn, the percentage of lot area coverage. What is the standard? I know I read somewhere that he's still not near that mark, but I just wanted to ask the question in general, more so than just for this file.
It does not go over the lot coverage requirements. I can pull up the number if you give me a sec.
Through the chair to yourself. So lot coverage is typically something we would do as part of the zoning analysis when we're writing the report. And if it didn't meet that, then we would have to vary that as well. So in this case, because it's not part of the application, I think we're good. I think that was your question.
Yeah, no, I knew it, this particular file, but what is the percentage? Do you know off the top of your head or Daniel?
I think.
Through you, Chair. So the allowable coverage is 45%, and for this lot, it's at 23% with the structure.
Thank you.
That answers your question? Any other questions? None? Can we vote on the motion presented ahead on the floor at this current time? All in favor? Carried. Your minor variance conditions are posted. There's a 20-day appeal period. But again, in 20 days, Danielle will be your best friend. She is a wonderful asset to the township. Thank you very much. That concludes our files in front of us, and it concludes the public portion of the meeting. New business. Any new business to discuss?
Thanks, guys.
All right, for those of us, right, in order, as I said at the beginning of the meeting for the general public,
We are.
we are,
Yeah, and we do have the tentative date and the adjournment. If you're,
I know we're in new business.
I see.
I'm still talking new business.
My apologies, John.
Not a problem. So in order to bring our committee in line with the rest of the township, it is imperative that we read the motion, right? First and second, doesn't matter, you're not stating whether you support it or not, and then vote it out after the discussion period. Our choices, I will remind the committee, are to accept it, to not accept it, or defer it. Those are our only three legal options within this committee, right? I'm not sure why we had to ask for a second motion, because we denied it. So if we deny it, it's denied. Like if we do not accept your motion as written as a township, as a committee of adjustment, then it has failed to pass. They don't get their variance. That is my understanding. Am I correct?
Not quite, through the chair. So when we present a motion as written, if you deny the motion as written, that just means the motion has failed, the motion has been denied. It does not mean that the application is denied. That is why we need a second motion, because we need a motion to deny to pass the application itself. No, sorry. If we had a motion to approve the application, that motion failed, but the application still needs a resolution. So then we needed a motion to deny, and that motion passed. So the motion to deny the application passed.
All right, so in the future, when we run into this again, if you can write quickly the motion you wish to present, because we have not accepted the motion that the township written, and you need another one, can you quickly write out word for word so you can read it, and then we can vote on it? That way, there's no me or these guys making up a motion in order to vote on. Like if we don't pass it, right? Then there has to be a wording that meets the criteria. I'm hoping so too, but as in the past, when we've run into this, right? Danielle has very quickly written out a motion, right? Of what she is looking for
Right.
from us.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I've
it
got
just
that.
keeps us on track, right?
That sounds good.
Rosalind, you want to add to that?
Well, thank you. I was just, through the chair, I was just going to mention, the other thing is that you could also make a new motion that would be accepting, right? So, that was the one option you missed in
Yeah.
that you could amend what it was that was on the floor, or you could deny that or vote that down and then create your own approval if
Yes,
that was.
if someone on the committee says amendment, then we amend the motion as written, vote on the amendment, vote on the amended motion. But in this case, we turned the motion down. It was defeated. Under my understanding, the application fails. Yes,
Good chair, but I understand that, I thought I understood that if when a motion is there, you have to vote on that motion. But after that, you can also then put forward an amended motion. That's the time to do the amended motion, not before.
okay. In the past,
Or a motion to deny, which is
okay,
what we did today.
yes,
That's one, am I right? Yeah.
all right.
So then my other question, I have two, I gotta think of it. Oh, yes, if a person moves the motion, the original motion to the floor, and the second or seconds that, I always understood that the person who moved the motion to the floor has to vote in favor of the motion.
Negative.
It's
In Robert's rules, it does not.
That is Robert's rules. So I just wanted to know, we're not doing that here?
I was pretty positive I read Robert's rules this week, and
I don't know. I've been on
Motioning-
committees
putting
since
a
I was
motion on
18,
the-
and that's always been a rule. Anyway, if I'm wrong, that's good. I just want clarification.
And that's why we're having this discussion, just to make sure that we are in line with all the other committees at township.
I have a note if I.
Yes.
Okay, through the chair. We are in response to the complexity of this application that we were looking at. Danielle and I are going to put together a procedural bylaw for the committee. Because in talking with Sasha, we realized the Committee of Adjustment doesn't have a procedural bylaw. So we're going to put that together, and that will include some of these pieces. so that we're all a little bit more clear on that.
Yeah, because that's my issue, is the clarity of, once you make the motion, yes?
Okay, so, sorry, I won't interrupt you.
Oh, no,
You have train of
feel
thought.
free.
Okay, so the only other thing I'm a little confused on is if a person such as today, we deny the original motion, there's a motion to deny the application, and if someone opposes that, why do we not record that as opposed?
Through the chair, this is according to the council's procedural bylaw, because I read that recently. This doesn't apply, but this is, I think, I believe this comes from Robert's rules, is that we don't ever record vote counts for votes taken by committee. We record whether a vote passes or fails, but we don't record the actual numbers.
That was my understanding.
However, if somebody calls for a recorded vote, then we do, so before we vote on the motion, somebody can call for a recorded vote, and then we count exactly how many people vote yay, nay, or abstain.
So in order for it to be recorded, I would have had to ask for a recorded vote.
Correct.
Kind of that's what I wanted. So the reason I'm doing this is because this guy can appeal it.
Yes.
Yes.
And if I don't agree with the decision, so I don't want to be painted with the brush.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure, I mean, if he goes to OLT, right? And appeals our decision, right? So far, we're not at a whole winning loss, and the township cannot defend our decision because we turned down their recommendation. So in the past, when we have turned down the township's recommendation and the application has arrived at the OLT, it has been overturned at the next, at the OLT, right? Because the township is not going to pay a new lawyer to defend our decision because we went against what the township has said. Now, many times we have not agreed with the township and granted a minor variance against the townships, but the applicant is not about to appeal that decision. It has only been in the 3 that we have in recent history that we have denied against the township motion as written, where they have appealed at the OLT and won their appeal. Because the township will not pay to defend our decision because it's not a township decision. Like, it's not the township's recommendation. So I believe that if he went to the OLT, he will get his minor variance quite easily. It'll just take him a couple of months to do it. Only because historically, the OLT has overturned every one of our decisions that we have denied against the township's recommended motion. So I believe all we've done is slowed this down.
I don't disagree with you. My concern is the outcome at the end of the term. I've been on a committee of adjustment that have approved something that was recommended not to be approved,
Yeah.
and they clean text. Okay, it's fact. So if it's not recorded, then
I must say that I am living proof. I'm on my 3rd term. And I have voted against the township on a number of occasions, and so far no one's fired me yet.
no, that's fine.
So
Yeah.
just throwing that out there. Rosalind?
Your dad and I were.
Thank you through the chair. So I'll just point out to the member that we've actually recorded this. So there is a recording on YouTube that stays on
Yeah.
as a record. So
I don't think it matters. I just, since we're talking about it, I just want clarification.
So if desired, obviously that could be something that we put into the procedural bylaw, that there is a step in terms of how we would record a vote if that is something the committee wishes to include into the procedural bylaw.
All right,
Um,
let's just take a quick vote on that. Would that be something that the county committee as a whole is interested in Colin recording the votes for each file? Do we want that? Or do we want pass or fail and leave it up to you guys to ask for a recorded vote if so desired on a case-by-case basis?
Yeah, well, Rosalind just said this is video, so all you
Yeah.
gotta do is watch the video and you know who voted for and who against.
All right,
But it's
cool.
a standard procedure. If you want a recorded vote, you answer.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a standard procedure. If you want a recorded vote, you ask for it. So,
so when you're writing your bylaw, write it that way.
Yeah.
Cool. Is there any other new business that anyone wants to discuss? Our next tentative meeting, good sir.
Our next meeting is scheduled for April 9th. We have one application scheduled for that, so
A lovely quick
it'll be
meeting.
quick. The time is 3 o'clock or 1500.
And I will not schedule a meeting before this meeting in another city. I will not do that next month. Do we have a motion to adjourn? All in favor? We are adjourned at 3:52. Thank you very much, Clearview.